Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So guys, welcome to this really special Zoom session. This is basically, life in articleship, feed the big four. So typically a lot of articles are confused whether they should, join the big four or not. And this recording is only and only to typically answer that. And hence we have like really, really nice panel. We have 4 people from all the big four. So the big four representation here. Just going to give you a brief. Pratham here is from Deloitte. He's working with Deloitte. Shashwat's from Mumbai, and he is with my article. I did my articleship from PwC, and he's from there. Kabir is from KPMG. I know for a fact that Kabir really loves what he does in office. Right now he's at home though. And Shubhangi is at EY. And we're from different cities, but we're all meeting up, bundling up so that we can answer typical questions which you guys have on your mind. All right, everyone. So welcome to the Zoom session. And first up, a big thank you. I know it's the month of July and it's a busy season. I know, there were a couple of things that we'll shift the meeting, etc. But I'm really happy that we're doing it at the scheduled time. So thank you. And if I ever bump into you guys, please, a large cup of coffee or a large pizza is definitely on me. So with that, just starting off. Pratham, let's pick up a question. Guys, I'm going to shoot up questions which potential article students ask me. And, you guys can bounce off your thoughts around it. There is no person, one question. Anyone whoever wants to pitch in can pitch in. Yes. So typically the question that comes to everyone's mind first up is how did you land up at a big four? Like what is the process to apply at a big four? So anyone who's had a very unique experience can share it, please.
So should I start off, sir?
Yeah, please.
So first of all, obviously when I was an article planning to start my articleship, the first question was whether the big four or the mid-size firm. That's the usual question which even I am asked by my juniors. So the very easy, I feel if in future you want to join the corporates or want to like be in an MNC, then I would suggest you to go for the big fours. But if you're planning in future to take over your dad's business, or are you planning to join a mid-size firm, then I would suggest you to straight away join a mid-size firm.
Yeah, Pratham,
Now moving,
but the question is, how did you land up at a firm?
Okay. So normal interviews, I would suggest everyone to make your resume as soon as you clear, like you're done with your exams, keeping in mind that obviously being positive that you would clear, because usually people, articles do this mistake is that they prepare their resume a week before they want to submit it. And usually there are a lot of mistakes. So I would suggest people to like prepare their resume well in advance so that they can be ready and submit it. And then I try to contact HRs by contacting my seniors who had numbers. And then once I got the numbers, I just contacted them, and that's how I just entered the interviews.
So you basically asked your seniors for numbers, contacted them directly, and that's how you pitched in. All right. Anyone else has another different unique experience of applying?
Actually, even I have. Sorry,
Yeah,
Kabir,
please.
but
no, it's fine. Go ahead. It's fine.
In PwC, I had given an aptitude test. So based on your field, whether it is tax or audit, you have to select a test. And then if you have to clear that test, and then you go for the interview rounds.
Oh, great. But how did you apply, Shashwat? Like where did you apply? For the portal? Did you send it to a friend?
As Pratham said, I had seniors who were there in PwC itself. So I just asked or requested them to forward my resume. And then they said the rest, you have to clear the test and clear the interview rounds. That's it.
Amazing. So there's a commonality between there, asking seniors and taking the help. Yes, Kabir, Shubhangi, yes.
So my experience was slightly different. I had no connects with the big four as such. Even though my dad's a CA, I kind of told him to stay out of it. I want to do this on my own. And then so I saw a person on LinkedIn, and the surname to me just seemed familiar from some senior in my school. It turns out it wasn't him, but I messaged him anyway, and that was it. Like I just messaged him, and he sent me the link for the assessment test. And then from there,
so this is almost like cold calling and selling a loan.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And actually it works. So LinkedIn really worked. Honestly, I only heard stories of LinkedIn working, but in Kabir's case, it worked. So this is a very unique story. And Shubhangi, how did you land up? We can't hear you, Shubhangi. I think it's on mute again. No, it's not on mute. No, not audible. I think it's a earphone. You want to unplug it and just No problem. I think you'll have to just unplug it and just use the computers. Or if you're on the phone, just use the phones. No, we can't hear you. Can anyone hear her?
No, sir.
No,
This
sir.
is such a Zoom issue. No problem, Shubhangi.
You can try rejoining the meeting, I guess.
Yeah, can't. Shubhangi, try rejoining no once. Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so we'll wait. I'll just edit this part out so everyone has a seamless thing there. That was one of the questions. I'll move to the next one as well. But when Shubhangi comes in, we'll pitch in the first question as well again. Yeah. Just one second. Perfect. So that was a little bit about, how you guys got in. So it's not always, the idea is that you have to have an influence to get into a Big Four, guys. Is that a myth or is that a reality?
I would say it's a reality.
Okay, but is that the only way to get in, considering none of you all went to an influence?
Not exactly, but most of the times, because I have many of my friends who have
Come through.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair. So guys, let's try and get to the second question. That a lot of people are confused whether they should really take it up or not. Yeah, and that is even without them getting an offer. So even before they get an offer, they are a little confused whether they should be a part of the Big Four or not. So is there some way you can decide, or were you all really sure from the start? How was the process? Like, anyone?
Oh, I'll go for that. So,
Yep.
So as I mentioned, usually that's the biggest confusion for all the articles out there. So my only suggestion to everyone is that if you want to continue in the Big Four, or are you planning to join an MNC, it would be better to join the Big Four because you would be introduced to the corporate culture as early as possible, and that would kind of give you a head start. But if you're planning to start join a mid-sized firm even in the future, or planning to take over your dad's business, then I would suggest you to go to a small size or mid-sized firm, because there you learn more because you're covering more areas. But in the Big Four, you're restricted to a single area, and that's one of the biggest cons of a Big Four.
Yeah. All right. Shubhangi, you want to take that one? Like, how did you decide you want to take it up?
So mine was very clear that at least once I want to experience that corporate culture. Like nobody knows ki 3 years down the lane whether we would like to continue there or not. But at least for once, I was very interested to know that how these big organizations work. And like in my LinkedIn posts also, and if somebody asks me, I just say like I have a different view than Pratham on this. I think one should always experience, like one should experience at least once. Like they should come. If they don't like it, they don't feel like it, then Big Fours are very friendly. I mean, they are not that strict that you can't take transfer within your first year. So you
Excellent.
can always take transfers as well. But the thing is, at least you should come and check like how these things work, and you should experience that corporate culture. And this is what I feel. So I was
Amazing
very clear
contrast.
I would go
Amazing
for.
contrast. On one hand, Pratham saying if you have a mindset already, and here Shubhangi saying
Yeah.
that I don't experience. So great. I love these both contrasting viewpoints. Shashwat, Kabir, anyone? Like, were you all clear
So
about
I would like to agree with Shubhangi what her view was, because even my dad has a business, but still I've joined Big Four, and I do have plans to continue my father's business just because I wanted to experience the corporate life for once. If I am able to adjust in this, so I'll continue.
Great, great. Kabir, any thoughts?
So for me, it was very clear I did not want to get into audit. So that was my thinking at that point. I knew what I wanted to do, having loved the subject so much of tax. I had the clarity in my head. And so from there on, it became very easy for me. It was just about, whether within tax, what do I want to go for? And that in itself was another big debate for me. But yeah, I had the clarity that I wanted to go get into tax. And I felt like if I have the clarity, there's nothing better than a Big Four for that.
So I want to ask a question to people who are like Shashwat and Shubhangi, who want to experience like a corporate culture. What if you never got a call from a Big Four? Like, would you be very disappointed to join a mid-size? Because a lot of students actually, guys, the reality is a lot of them don't get interview calls. And some of them, even after getting interview calls, they can't convert it. So what if both of you all didn't get, any Big Fours? And would you be very disappointed, just like realistically?
Realistically, not that much disappointed. Yes, there would be a disappointment that you weren't able to get into the top 4 firms, and you did not have that brand value with you whenever you enter. So as Pratham said, that we do really have a head start when we get into Big Fours. So that I would feel.
Fair. Shubhangi, what about you? Were you like really keen? And what if you did not get
Yeah,
in? Like,
I was really keen on joining a Big Fours. Even I got like I texted even partners of Big Fours and Big Six on LinkedIn, and I actually get referral from them only for getting
oh,
into
that's
Big
so
Fours.
cool. I never thought LinkedIn is so powerful, guys. Really changing my
Yes,
mind
that
about it.
is so powerful. Like that was the story that I wanted to share before also. Like how did it happen? But
Amazing. Really.
I was so keen, but I had some backup also. Okay, what if it does not happens and all? So there are some firms which are not Big Fours, but they are as good as Big Fours. For example, there is firm called Transaction Square, which is
Yes.
started by the KPMG, a
Yep.
national tech head.
Head.
So these kind of firms also you can look for. The clients and the exposure will be same. Even the people are the partners from Big Fours, directors from Big Four. There also you can experience the same culture work wise, but it is just that brand name is missing. So
Great.
I had
So I'm
that.
just going to summarize. People like Shubhangi and Shashwat are really keen. People like Kabir were really keen on what they want to do. So I think there's a whole nice mix. So I really appreciate that. Now, straight away getting to the work culture. Yes. When I joined my Big Four, my idea was that this looks so good. It's a glass building. It has great infrastructure. I want to get in. Once you get in and settle in, it's the work culture. So can you define your work culture? And like people say, is it healthy, or now the recent term for anything bad, or is it toxic? So anyone define your work culture, guys?
So I would like to
Sure.
take it up. I feel it depends from team to team, obviously. Like my experience can be very different from a person working in other team. So, but overall, Big Fours have article-friendly policies only. They have proper transfer policies, proper if you want to go for industrial training, they have proper policies for advanced ITT and MCS, and then leaves also. Plus, there
Are
might
those
be some
policies
cases.
actually implemented well?
Yeah, those like in EY, though I can vouch for ki those are properly implemented. Plus, there might be some cases when managers or senior managers are harsh to you, but till now, in this 1.5 year, like 1 year, 4 months, what I feel is ki people have been really very nice. And what I have heard is ki you cannot directly talk to managers, senior managers, partners. You
Um,
just have to interact with the executives and assistant manager. But here I feel there is no such foundation. It's
so
like
there's
a
a
very
myth.
flat structure. Yeah, you can go to your managers and even to your directors and tell them about your concerns. And if you want to work on a particular client, yeah, if you want a particular kind of exposure, you can tell them and they are pretty understanding.
Very interesting.
So work culture is also good and I find it healthy.
Anyone
There
else?
might be some exceptions.
Yeah, I was an exception, honestly. I'll talk about my experience first, y'all. Yes. Anyone else?
Yeah, if I may.
Yeah.
So for me, I actually don't work in audit or tax as per se. I work in mergers and acquisition tax, which is a separate field altogether. So rather unluckily for me, I'm the only article in my entire department. So that in itself has a different point of view, I would say, because I am like, pampered a lot by my team. So we have like a 20-25 member team, which is the entire M&A tax department for KPMG Bangalore. And being the only article for me, it's very different. I'm like, I'm looked after a lot, so as to say. But
Yeah.
I think in the amount of the length people are willing to go to help you in a Big Four, I think that's really something which is not spoken about enough. You have the directors, the partners, they'll sit down with you and talk to you and explain things to you, break it down in a very micro way. And I think that is very important, especially at our age. And I think particularly I would like to highlight that in my almost 1 year until now, the approachability of the partners, the directors, as Shubhangi said, is something which people feel that in the Big Four it's not there. But in my opinion, that is what sets the Big Four apart from
Great,
the
guys. We're
others.
going to edit this, cut it, and give it to you all so you can send it to your managers as well. this part. Shashwat, Pratham, what about yours, man?
Yes,
No
sir.
one has
As
a bad
Kabir
boss. Like,
said,
what is this? No one has a bad boss. Good. Yes.
as Kabir said that even us when we have a certain doubt, so we are asked to ask it on the floor, the query. It's like some or the other, someone might have done that. So you can get, the basic documents, the sanitized documents. So that's how we do it. So yeah, Big Four in terms of helping you is very nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you my experience, guys. I had a really very, very demanding boss. Already, although looking back, I think he was a manager and he was really demanding. He used to make sure I come on time, make me work really long hours, etc. Very particular about how a document should look. But that time I used to hate it. But looking back, I think there was a lot of discipline he instilled in me. But what I really appreciated, but above that manager was a partner who would calm things down. When the manager would go all over the place, he would get angry. The partner would calm things down. So of course, I didn't have the best manager as such when I was thinking that time. But now I look back and I feel it was a learning experience. Yeah, Pratham, so how's your manager?
He's the current manager is good. The last manager which I had wasn't that very good. He used to try to micromanage everything. So obviously it's not all rosy in the Big Fours. Obviously there are the cons in Big Four. Like sometimes I've heard usually articles make gender statements as to this firm or this company is very bad for working. But I usually feel, again, as Shubhangi mentioned, is the manager or the team which you get into which matters.
So true.
Like I mentioned, my previous manager wasn't that great in terms of work culture, but the current manager which I've got is really brilliant.
Yeah. And I feel that's a thing with everyone. I think that's a people problem. Small firm, mid-size, large firms, all will have some people who are frustrated and they will remove their frustration on you. And we will find, lucky enough to find some people, who are great to help, learn and grow. So I think that's a common thing. Yes, anyone? I think Shubhangi, you want to add something?
I want to add one thing. I'm not advocating that you should do it if you are not trying, if you are not doing well with your colleagues. But in Big Fours it is very normal. You can get your teams also changed. Like if your partner is okay, if your managers are okay and they are very friendly, you just can say, okay, I want to work in a different exposure, like that. So that is also the option there, which I feel is not there in mid-size firm. So that problem can also be catered. You can get your teams and
Fair enough. Nice, nice. Guys, I want to understand about what areas are you working in and are there crazy hours? Like as an article, you're there to learn. I say I have stipulated some hours, which is beyond, of course, very, very, to the point. But of course, I understand you need to work over and beyond that. But are you working like crazy, insane hours? Like, or are you be able to balance your life with weekends off or, some days in the evenings off? What are your thoughts around that?
So, may I take this?
Of course.
So, sir, I would say my articleship life and my work-life balance has been pretty well. I'm managing it very well.
Amazing.
Touch wood, I don't have
Yeah.
mad working hours.
By the way,
But
Shashwat
when
also works out really well. I've seen all his gym posts and all. So yeah, he's one in the fitness freaks.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Yeah. So you balancing out well.
Yeah. So actually, the thing is, whenever you have work, that time it's okay when you stay. So suppose out of 5 days, one day maybe you're working up till late. So that's
Okay.
the case.
Okay. Anyone else on
for
those
me
hours?
at least?
Because a lot of students have this myth that crazy hours Big Four make you work a lot every single day. Is that the case? Anyone else as well?
So I would also like to take it up. It is true that work hours are crazy. Like we all know that the level of client and the giant client that they work on, and given the deadlines, the work hours are crazy. But it is not like that every day is crazy. It's that particular season or a particular week, maybe sometimes a particular month might be crazy, but they give you time to rejuvenate. For example, if you have been on a client in past 1 month where the working hours are crazy, then they will give you a week off. So it's not like
Okay.
that they
They'll
don't take care
compensate.
of their
I
resources,
think
they
that's
compensate
only
for
found
that.
in Big Fours and large firms, this compensation culture where they give you actually little compost for every weekend you work. So I think that's a great thing that they do. Kabir, Pratham, what about your hours? What's the last you sat or have you seen sunrise and then gone home?
So for me, given the fact that I work like so, right? If you work in audit, you have a particular season usually where it's more stringent.
Busy
But for
season.
me, there's no season as such. But every deal that comes in, as per the manager, it's on fire. So we have to get it done immediately. But having said that, for me, so my manager by chance lives very far from the office. So like she leaves usually around 6:37. So then I can also, say I'll go home and continue working. So that's one good thing. Even when I have to work late, I never stayed in office beyond 9 o'clock. So, I can come home and continue working. I have had to stay up until 2, 3 sometimes to work, but that is a rarity. Maybe like 1 week and 2, 3 months will probably be like that. But apart from that, so far for me at least, the working hours have not been an issue at all.
Kabir's boss stays far, and by the way, guys, it's in Bangalore, so far and traffic.
Yeah.
So yeah, lucky Kabir. Nice.
So it's from Indranagar to Jayanagar. I'm sure, so you
Yeah, I can guess it. Others, guys, it's too far and a lot of traffic. So I'm sure, she leaves early and good for Kabir. Pratham, what is your take on that? Hours, work culture, hours actually.
As mentioned, it's usually during the peak season is when we have to extend, like usually during, like I'm in audit, so we usually have stock audits. So I remember once in the month of April, like 1st or 2nd April, I had to do an overnight stock audit. So I stayed up like till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that was like in like Whitefield. So coming back also was a little difficult. But yeah, it's not that we are doing that on a daily basis.
But it's
And
okay,
as
right?
mentioned,
According to, I'm just asking an open question to all. Is that okay? Because if you're not compromising on your studies or there's nothing much, why not? Why not spend those hours sometimes working hard, Everyone's done it.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Perfect. I think that's
absolutely.
great.
So for me, like I feel like, when you're doing good work, you get an adrenaline rush, like when you finish good quality work.
Yeah.
And I feel like at times that's a very good thing. So for me personally, that's been a big thing as well in not minding working late.
Amazing, amazing, guys. So great. Work hours, again, a big myth which has been busted, honestly. A lot of people feel like that. Now, I just want to understand, have you guys started your classes, and are you able to manage your classes along with your, articleship? Is that happening? Is that manageable? Anyone?
okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you can continue. Shubha.
I'm like,
Okay, sure. So it's yes, I have started my classes. I'm able to manage my classes, but obviously when there are weekends or weeks when we have to put in the hard hours, that's when I usually miss out classes. But I'm able to balance it out. I wouldn't be able to say very consistently, but yes, here and there I'm able to like keep up with the pace of classes. So I wouldn't say it's very hard to do that.
But then
Planning
what
is
about
very
the
important.
classes you miss? Like how do you plan to make it up? Is it a lot, and will it hamper your studies in the long run?
See, at times it's about prioritizing. Sometimes you have to prioritize your work, but at times you have to prioritize your studies because at the end of the day, in the corporate culture, everyone expects you to work 24/7
Yeah.
or like they expect you to prioritize work over studies. But at times you should be able to be in a position to make the right decision as to, okay, yeah, this is the busy season, so I want to work, but now this off season, so I'll just prefer studying. So it's about planning and prioritizing.
Great, nice, well said. Anyone else like classes versus your job? Like how do you manage?
yeah, so I would also feel ki first thing is that you should start early. Like after 6 months of your articleship is what I feel you should start so that you don't feel that kind of
You mean
burden.
the classes, like
Yeah,
typically.
the classes
And are
because
you going,
in
Shubhangi, Pratham, whoever's answering this, are you going to a physical class or are you all watching it online? Like, what is your take
I am taking it online only.
online?
And it is quite manageable. One thing that really helped me a lot is ki before office in the morning you take, even if it is 1.5 hour, even if it is 1 hour, but you take that class because after coming from office it is very difficult because you are already very exhausted and then you feel like ki we should sleep.
I
Let's
agree.
do
So
it
morning
tomorrow.
classes can be managed along with work.
You take out time in the morning, it is really helpful in completing things on time, and it also keeps you motivated throughout the day. Yeah, I've completed my class, now I can completely focus on my work.
Okay. Shashwat, Kabir, have you all started like studying?
Yes, so I've started with my lectures.
Okay.
So
So are you able
it's
to regularly
manageable.
attend?
Yes, I am able to regularly attend. So mostly what I prefer is I would like to contradict Shubhangi over here. What I do is when I finish my work, and that's when after a break of maybe an hour or so, I start my lectures. So
Okay.
that now I know that
You're
okay,
watching
so work
recorded
is
classes.
yes, sir.
Okay, online. Okay. Kabir, have you, started looking at books, any subjects?
For
And
me,
are you able to
so what
manage?
happened, like, it has taken me too long so I got too comfortable with my inter teachers that it's taking me too long to finalize on, which lecture I should go
Yeah.
for. And because of that, so luckily for me, I work from home 2 days, like 2 days a week, I can work from home.
Okay.
So when I don't have any work, I'll just keep my work laptop. I hope my manager is not watching this. Keep
No,
my
he's
work
not.
laptop aside and then, sit and try to watch classes during that time.
Okay. So you're basically, I think this is a slight negative about the Big Four, that you need to squeeze in a little, because I know small mid-sized firms, they allow you to walk in at 11, so you can comfortably watch like 3 hours and come in at 11. I think that is one small thing people should note about. And there's a lot of self-discipline which go back home and study. So or in the morning study. So I think somewhere, there is a small hitch there, I feel. Yeah. All right. So quickly going to the next topic, all of y'all, whether you're in audit, whether in M&A tax, whether you're in tax, would want to continue not in the same Big Four, but in the same field ahead? Because typical people fear that Big Fours make you do only one kind of work. And if that is true, which obviously it is, would you want to switch, or would you want to continue in this sphere that you're working in right now?
So even I am working in the financial service and P deals tax department, and to my surprise, there are like many things to be discovered in this field. So basically, we work on Income Tax Act, SEBI, and FEMA. So there are many doubts and many queries which are still unresolved. So
Great.
I would feel
So
to
my question is, Shashwat, if once you become a CA and they offer you a role as a consultant full time, would you like to do that?
yes, sir, surely.
Great. So sometimes you get lucky, you find things you like, and so it's not always a negative that they make you only do one thing. What if that one thing is something you enjoy, like how Shashwat's saying? Pratham, what's your take on this?
I would be actually open to switching over options or switching over industries or like fields, because sometimes I feel exploring new areas kind of like indicate as to what you like and what you don't like. So I want to contradict a little to Shashwat, because even though you're in this one industry, maybe once you switch over to another industry, maybe you'll find something more interesting. And that's why I'm open to switching over to another field.
Okay. Shubhangi, Kabir.
So, I mean, I don't find audit that much suitable to me. I mean, it's very good and it's very important. Like audit is a very important thing, especially for investors and other parties. But I don't consider myself to be an audit person.
You
Like
don't want
after
to sign
becoming a
that
CA.
audit report someday in life. You don't
No,
have
but
to do that.
the only problem is there is a lot of documentation which I find little annoying. It is interesting also, like when we are analyzing why the variances are happening, and when we are preparing the financial statements, it's good. But most of our time goes into documentation and then vouching and verification things, which I personally don't find very interesting. So I would not like to continue. As of now, my thought is that I would not
But
like to continue.
still, you're happy where you are, even if they're giving you
Yeah,
that kind of work, because you're
yes.
learning other
These
things
3 years,
besides audit as well, like soft
yeah,
skills.
for these 3 years, I am really happy that I came here. I don't regret this decision even a single day. But after qualification, same as Pratham, I am also open to another options.
So Pratham, we've heard Shashwat. Kabir, what's your take on this?
So for me personally, I have three things that I want to try out in life. One is what I'm currently doing, the merger and acquisition side. Second is more on the investment banking or finance side. And the third would be I want to, like, at least for some period in my life, I want to get into management consulting as well. So once I have tried out all three, then I'll probably be able to settle down and decide what I want to do in the long run. But for me, what I feel is that, and when I look at some freshly qualified CAs joining MNCs versus joining Big Fours, I feel like the pay in Big Four is much lesser than MNCs. And I feel like at the end of the day, that might be one reason for me to not want to continue in a Big Four after my articleship.
Perfect. So I really love this contrast, honestly, guys. Like there's some guy who's saying that, no, I love my work and I want to continue. And there's someone who's being very honest that, listen, this is not what I want to do. But for 3 years, I don't mind. It's teaching me a lot of things. And I think both viewpoints are great. One of the reasons I would take up a Big Four again is because of so many things it teaches you. Of course, it puts you in that one shell at one kind of work, which if you enjoy like Shashwat and some others like Kabir also, it's great to continue. But even if you don't, you'll end up learning so much, and that tag really counts in the end. All right, a couple of other things, right? Stipend. One very big question, honestly, it shouldn't be. Looking back, I feel all my stipend money, whether it was high or low, got spent. So the real money you make is only after you become a CA. But like, is really stipend important? Are you guys really using it well? Do you feel happy when you get a big stipend? And if you can give me like a range of what the kind of stipend per second year, third year articles get in your firm. We'll not take up all. Any two people can answer. Anyone right now?
So I feel ki this things depends ki stipend is a should be a contributing factor whether you should go for a big four or not, but it depends on a students family conditions also, that if a person is moving to a Delhi or Mumbai kind of a city, then that person can afford to get 15,000 per month from their family or not. So for me, I think stipend does matters, like it makes you feel independent also, even if you are not able to save anything, but at least you are able to manage your expenses
Pay your
well.
own bills.
So I think it is an important factor, at least I think that.
And that's one of the good things about Big Four. They respect that, and I think they're the most generous payers amongst all the firms. So good stuff. And like, what range is this stipend in? Anyone wants to contribute? Like, how do you start first year, second year, third year?
So it's usually in the range of around 15 to 17,000 is what you start off in your first year. And by the third year, it's around 25 to 27,000. So as the year passes by, it increases.
So it's a slightly nice, healthy thing, which at least can take care of your bills. And, you know, someday you want to
Yes.
surprise your parents or something small, you can do that with your own money. It's a good feeling. I completely understand. Guys, just one question. Does this badge really, really make a big difference? Like the Big Four tag, or when you introduce self to family or friends, etc. Do you feel really nice about it?
May I, sir?
Yeah, please.
So honestly, it does matter because today, when somebody asks you as to where you're interning, and I say Deloitte, they at least know the company. But if I say like a mid-sized firm, no offense, but obviously sometimes they're not aware about it. So they're like, oh, okay, you're working here, that's fine. But when I say Deloitte, that reaction automatically says it that yes, I have got that respect when I say the company name. So I would completely agree to it that yes, it has a brand value, and also obviously it adds to the resume as well. It provides weightage to your resume.
Anyone else? Like, have you all wowed people with your like introduction that you're working in a Big Four?
Yes, every time
Yeah, please.
when I introduce myself as doing articleship in a Big Four, so be it any of my friends or colleagues in mid-size, they are like, "Oh, you are just doing great. You have a great life." It's like that. So yeah, it does have a brand name and a status symbol.
And honestly, guys, looking back, even as a professional, whenever you introduce yourself to clients or the next employer, it really makes a big difference. So I think that's a common thing. Just two last questions I want to ask you. One is just on a scale of 10, did your expectation meet reality on a scale of 10? Just give me your scale, what you thought about Big Four life and what was it? Shashwat, how much would you rate it on your expectation level and your reality level? On a scale of 10, 10 being the best.
I would say around 8.
Pratham, what about you? Working in a Big Four, did it?
So around 6, 7, like in that range.
Kabir, what about you?
Somewhere between 7 and 8.
7 and 8. And Shubhangi, what about you?
Mine would be 7.
7. So it's above average, honestly. Most of your expectations have been met from that angle. And just if you had to do articleship all over again, yes, just a yes or a no, would you take up a Big Four again? Whether it's your Big Four and any Big Four, would you take it up again? Shashwat, we'll go with you first. Would you take it up
No.
again? You will not take up a Big Four again. Very surprising. Yes, Pratham, what about you?
Yes, I would go for it.
Kabir, what about you?
Yes,
Great.
absolutely.
And
yes.
Shubhangi?
Yes, definitely.
Great. Shashwat, just that one little no struck with me. Why? Like, what is the deal?
For me, being a chartered accountant means that you should have knowledge of every sphere, be it income tax, be it GST, audit, everything. So when I introduce myself as a chartered accountant, the samne wala person is like, you should know everything. So what I feel is, if someone asks me a GST doubt, I shouldn't be saying that, okay, I'm a chartered accountant who does something related to income tax only. So I just need to have some idea of what he's talking about.
Really appreciate all the candid answers, guys. We are only going to wrap it up in this much time because I want this video to be really short. Guys, all of you guys, thank you so much. Not just from me, from everyone who watches the video and benefits. Really a lot of Big Four myths. And thank you for being so honest with all your questions, guys. Really, really appreciate your time and hoping to see you soon, whether in Bangalore or Mumbai. Yes. Thank you guys for participating. And that's about it. That was my questions, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much for having
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, guys. I'll catch you guys on WhatsApp, guys, now. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
me.
Thank
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you. Bye.